Hello Internet, this is your resident Pico enthusiast / absolute idiot, showing hard bullets in a Pico. But what's this? This is a Steam frame controller layout. There's a D-pad here. I'm pretty sure I don't have a D-pad, because I'm in the Pico 4 Ultra. But I'm running the hard bullet Steam frame APK. So this isn't available on the Pico store. This is from Steam, a legit copy from Steam that I own hard bullet for on the PCVR version. And because the developer's releasing a Steam frame version, they have a different branch for the APK version of the game. So I'm actually using a recent developer update in unorthodox to list that APK version and download it into my headset. No PC involved, that's sweet. Now, someone is going to immediately scream, how do I do this? What do I do? I want this on my Quest. If you've seen Brad's tweet, there was a comment I made. Someone else in the Game Native Discord has managed to do the same thing of getting the APK into their Quest and installing and running it. But the running situation isn't true. It's not working running. It means it basically launches, and some games will show a render, but it won't have any inputs on your hands, so that's useless. And most games will just show a black 2D screen with no render, no anything. So for me to get this working, I've actually used a tool that shall not be named and make this convert into all of the Pico SDK stuff. So it gives you the hands, gives you the render. It tells it it's a Pico headset and re-implements all of the Pico stuff into the OpenXR implementation. So I don't believe there's anything like that for Quest. So there's going to need to be something like that for Quest if you need to at least do what I'm doing right now. However, I would absolutely love to avoid doing that and keep this all above board and have game installs on Steam not only offer the Steam frame, but offer Quest and Pico support. And I know that Meta are more than likely never going to let Steam have an application that gives access to the store and especially games from Steam on the Meta Quest. That's just never going to happen. Pico maybe can be convinced, I don't know. But essentially, that would give us an opportunity for an actual open ecosystem where, much like SideQuest, you get your APK. If I use Team Beef as an example, and I keep using this example because it's an excellent example, of having one APK for Team Beef's, say, Doom or Quake or whatever you want to have. It's one APK for the Quest and the Pico. It doesn't matter what headset you put the APK on, they both work, and they have all the inputs, everything's tuned per those things. That could happen on Steam. Right now it can't because there's no actual way to get the APKs into your headset unless you're smart enough to do this. But it could happen in the future, and I would love to see that, purely because obviously if it does go the way of the dodo, or if new games are only ever going to release on Steam and not come to Pico. I know Pico's a very obscure system. It did have a spell of getting some ports, but that seemed to have slowed down. So you can see where I'm coming from here. I would love to be able to just keep playing modern games. If it comes from Steam, I don't care, as long as they work in the headset, that's cool. So, yeah, that's my wish. Hopefully it gives you some insight of why I've done this and why I'm showing it working. But it's a tease because you're not going to be able to do this in the Quest right now, not that I'm aware of. Not unless you're a developer and you know how to go tweaking and rebuilding APKs, which I wouldn't advise. So, the legal side out of the way. I want to just give you a sort of little insight that I've got from previous experience doing this. I've got the metrics on screen, and the iBuffer is 2318 by 2318, and the refresh rate is at 90 Hertz. Ignore the frame rate, that's because I'm recording at 90 Hertz with a high thing. It's not supposed to be running, obviously. But the 90 Hertz situation doesn't necessarily translate into the Steam frame maybe 90 Hertz. It could be 72. That is purely because this Pico 4 Ultra has a baseline of 90 Hz as a resolution for anything that's going into the system. But the iBuffer does give you an indication of the bump over the baseline spec. So I don't remember the Steam frame baseline resolution off the top of my head, but I know it goes Quest 3, Steam frame, Pico 4 Ultra. So the Pico 4 Ultra is 1920 by 1920 per eye. So that means this has already got a bump over that baseline in this game. And the way this tool handles that is basically it takes that same bump, not the same number, but it takes the same bump over the baseline and applies it into here. So I can already tell you, at least in this build I've got right now, that hard bullet on the Steam frame is going to be having a bump over its baseline resolution, and even better, I would imagine that's going to be combined with the eye tracking. So if it squeezes in a smaller square with that resolution, the image is going to be much better than what I'm seeing right now, purely because it's packing in more detail to an area that can follow your eyes. That'd be awesome. So even though the Pico 4 Ultra has the same panel resolution and same FOV, it's not going to look the same. It'll actually look better in Steam frame. So that's cool. So yeah, I just wanted to share this because there is that tweet that obviously Brad made, and that's going to stir the pot a little bit, but this is going to clear the air and tell you exactly how it is. This is the first instance I know of running a Steam frame APK within another headset. And while it's not perfect, due to how the tool just very quickly implements hand positions, they're not entirely perfect. They're not bad, as you can tell. They're not entirely perfect, but they're not too far off. It doesn't affect my gameplay at all. The haptics are working, which is nice. But yeah, this isn't in any way officially available. It's just one of those instances that it can be done, and that's what the tweet says. It can be done. With the right methods and right will, you can force things to work. But until the APKs from Steam share a platform, this is going to be a tease of the future, essentially. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Steam OS headset. It can just pull it in from Steam, and I wish Steam would release an Android application that would bring the APKs to Android, not just for VR, but also the APK games that are going to be releasing on Steam anyway as flat. So there's my fingers crossed for the future. Cheers guys, there's your tease. Thanks for watching.